Hey everybody, welcome to the Nurse Deck interview series, our Insider Perspective series. We are happy to have you here. I have today Alexander Santiago, who is joining us all the way from Abu Dhabi. It's amazing.
Hi everyone.
So you're winding your day down and we're just getting started over here on the East Coast in the US. But Alex is the current clinical resource nurse for Amana Health. And we are going to jump right in without further ado. So tell us how you got your start in nursing.
So basically the biggest factor, the biggest influence that got me into nursing was my mom. So she basically
heard that a lot.
Yes. Mom knows best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically she wanted one of her children to become a nurse. So as the youngest of us.
Yeah.
So I became a nurse because it was my mom's wish. And unfortunately, my siblings pursued other careers, so it was up to me to pursue.
How many siblings do you have?
I have three. I have two sisters, older sisters.
So you were her last hope.
Yes, I was her last hope. And it's one of the best decisions I've made as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
Following my mom and becoming a nurse.
Yeah. Is your mom also a nurse?
No. So I'm the only nurse in the family.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's great. So you're setting the new tradition.
Yes. Hopefully
awesome.
In the next generations.
That's great.
Somebody will follow.
Yes. It's bound to happen. Can you tell us a little bit about your advocacy work as a nurse educator?
So I have two things that I'm passionate about as a nurse educator. So the first one is lifelong learning. So I'm really big pushing, I don't know what's the correct term, but I'm big on influencing my colleagues or basically everybody to better themselves by learning or by pursuing a postgraduate activity like a course. It could be a course, it could be a formal training to be professional. It's all for professional development.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's really needed in nursing.
Yeah. So I think being in a lifelong learning activity is a way to be a better person, to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in nursing. I think the moment you stop being curious about what is out there and what new advancements and developments and practice updates are happening, that's probably when it's time to hang up your stethoscope.
Yes. So every day there is something new. So
always. I think it's the best part of nursing. There's always something new to learn. It's an exciting part of it. Talk to us a little bit, since you're in the education realm. COVID has been a global crisis for the world for the past 2 years. What significant changes or challenges in clinical education have you seen during the pandemic that still need to be addressed or were challenging to address at the time?
Yeah, so basically, I think most educators would agree that the shift from the traditional face-to-face learning was carried over to the virtual platform.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest challenge for us. So how do we make the experience
Yeah.
like how it is actually being done in a clinical board.
Right.
So that's the biggest challenge for us.
Yeah. And especially knowing that this class of nursing will graduate into a nursing world that's completely different, where they'll be needing their skills to be really dialed in, and to come from a background, you hope that they got enough experience in virtual learning,
Yeah, so
simulation.
it's really different.
Yeah, I can imagine for educators, it was a huge challenge to overcome. Do you
Very-
find most students are returning to traditional clinicals now?
So since I think in the past months, it has been the restrictions have been lenient,
Yeah,
but with the new mutations and the new,
yeah,
there's always a new variant
yeah,
being
right.
discovered. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Hopefully it will stop and it
yeah,
can go back to normal.
yeah, absolutely. So, talking further about the pandemic, what do you think in your own practice, what differences have you seen, the most significant differences you've seen or made during the pandemic?
So I think this is a very tough question.
Yeah.
So what significant difference did I make? So I'll start in a point of view of a nurse educator. So I am actually currently a hospital-based, a facility-based educator. So during the peak of the pandemic, our facility was very short of nurses. Like
Mm,
really, really short. I think
yeah.
it's not just us, it's the whole world actually.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So our facility is a specialized facility where we take care of chronically ill patients. We call them residents.
Yeah.
So we pull them out of the ICUs. We help the ICUs in the acute facilities. We vacate their beds and we move them over to our facility. So basically, we take care of chronically ventilated patients. So the nurses that
Okay.
we usually hire are critically, or should be trained, or should have a background on
Right. Yeah.
critical care. So since the pandemic, of course, it's a struggle to get people recruited.
Yeah.
It's even difficult to get a nurse to
Right.
join us because
Wow.
every hospital needs a nurse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hired a few, but they were not specialized in taking care of ventilated patients. So me and my team, the other educators in our facility, we came up with a rapid upskilling course to help them transition into
Yeah.
their new jobs.
Right. That's
So
great.
basically, yeah. So I think that's the most significant
I would say so.
something
Yeah.
that I did during the pandemic. Is the most significant thing I did during the pandemic.
Right.
But nonetheless, every nurse or anybody who took part in helping mitigate the pandemic, like in their own little ways, it's
Yeah.
significant. I mean,
Yeah.
significance is doesn't need a parameter.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So if you come to think of it, like just helping to immunize or
Yep.
vaccinate somebody, getting that person jab, it's already
Yep.
something to be
Right.
proud of.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I think big changes, sometimes you feel like you need big solutions, but really you just need many people doing the right thing
It's a
consistently.
it's
Yes,
collaborative
exactly.
effort. Yes.
Right. When we get teamwork right, it is a beautiful thing. But it can be hard to orchestrate, especially during a pandemic, you know. But that's amazing that you created something to not only help nurses who maybe didn't have the enough experience or the right expertise to help them feel more comfortable, because I can only imagine how intimidating that would be coming in and not feeling like you don't want to harm the patients, certainly. And these patients, I'm sure, are very high need based. Um, and then on the other hand, you guys have the reassurance that you're training people and getting them up to speed. So that's amazing. I think that's a huge difference that you made there.
Thank you very much.
That's great. Do you think the way that society views nurses has changed during the pandemic or as a result of the pandemic? I mean, here in the US, we have politics mixed in with everything. I don't know if you experienced that where you are, but do you think the role, at the beginning we were like all the heroes, and then at least here it became harder if you advocate for public health? I mean, a lot of people have different opinions, with the vaccine mandates, or have you changed personally in this, or how do you think society views nurses differently?
I think I think society has always seen nurses as an important, integral part of the whole community. But through the pandemic, I think we were highlighted. I think our voice is heard better.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of issues, like not just in the US. I mean, it's worldwide. Like nurses are struggling with nurse-patient ratios
Yeah.
and even equitable pay.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think now with the work that we've done during the pandemic, we have been emphasized. I mean, the spotlight was focused on us. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, we were. I think we've been heroes for the longest time, but it's just recently that we've become their superhero, not
Yeah.
just a hero.
Right. Yeah. I think on the one hand, people really understand now what nursing is, because so much focus has just been on healthcare and healthcare systems. And when the hospitals were all struggling to find supplies, and people were stepping up and donating lots of supplies, and trying to create supply chains to keep nurses safe, when the hospitals were falling short. So that was really nice. And, the clap rounds of applause that people were doing for nurses at, like, I know here it was like around shift change around 7 p.m. But it's, all of that is great, but I think nurses they just want to get on with it. They just want to get on with the work and have the correct resources to be able to do it. So
I totally agree.
yeah. What in that vein, I think that's gotten a little bit better, at least like supply chain wise, or being a little bit more prepared now that we see it's not just going to be one variant, it's going to be, like of variants coming and going. What are some changes you think are still needed in healthcare right now?
So basically, I think it's not just. I think it's the same. It's the same problems that needs to be addressed. I think they should allocate more resources to healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
like more budget, more opportunities for healthcare professionals to be recognized, to further develop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, addressing the old issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I think that's what we're seeing here too, is all the problems that nurses just dealt with are
Especially
now like major. We're not satisfied with working with the same status quo anymore, which could be a good thing, I think, in the long term. Um, Quality healthcare and patient care safety. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means to you?
so yes. Let's. I'm gonna bring it back to a educator's perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm big on lifelong learning. It can be correlated to research and current trends. So quality healthcare boils down with offering our patients and their families and the community at large with the best practices,
Mm-hmm.
with the most current literature available.
Yeah.
So I think that's quality healthcare for me. So
Yeah.
doing what's best for
Right.
our patients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As an educator, do you have any tips for current School of Nursing curriculum?
Okay. So yes.
A
So
small
I think
question.
yes. So I think um, we have emphasized in the past years the importance of clinical skills. I think nursing school curriculum should focus more on nursing research.
Hmm.
I know it's included in most of programs already, nursing programs, but I think more emphasis should be given on nursing research,
Hmm.
as what we've discussed earlier. Current literatures and research is the um, current research is correlates to
Hmm.
quality healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Do you feel that nursing school curriculum right now is, I mean, not to say they're teaching anything outdated, but you feel like there should be more of an emphasis on, I mean, nursing is moving at such a rapid pace, like innovations and best practices I think are changing in a lot of areas. So you feel like curriculum is kind of lagging behind there?
I think most of our books and resources are updated regularly, but I think the most important thing is for nursing students to get into the research culture. Like they
That's
themselves
yeah.
could be interested into
Yep.
finding out what could be improved,
Yeah.
what could be better.
Right.
So I think it's the research culture that I want to inculcate with the future nurses.
Yeah. I love
And
that term,
start,
research culture. That's perfectly said.
it's something that that should start during the nursing school.
Yes, agreed. 100%. And to show nurses that research is a viable career option too. I mean, if you're interested in it for your own practice, you can make a career out of it.
It's
Really.
really something. Yeah, it's a specialization that can be introduced to our future nurses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We talk a lot about burnout, compassion fatigue, um, and how nurses are dealing with that here. How are your fellow nurses that you're working with dealing with these issues where you are?
Oh, our my colleagues are very resilient, so they've
Oh,
been through a lot.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
they cope with the pandemic in their own ways. I mean,
yeah.
the facility has offered support, but yeah, coping with such a global pandemic, coping
Yeah.
with the pandemic, it's an individualized approach, right? One copes differently to another. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think uh, burnout can be addressed by just giving nurses time,
Hmm.
rest,
Yeah.
and they could cope or adapt or adjust in their ways that they think that will be effective to them.
Yeah. Agreed. It doesn't have to be fancy. It
Yeah,
just have
don't
to,
have it like a warm bath or a
yeah.
Netflix marathon.
Right.
Keep
That's
their
my
minds off. Yes.
weapon of choice. Yes. Yeah, I agreed. I think just getting the word out that it's vital to nursing, that it's something that you have to schedule in for yourself, but that the specific activity doesn't really matter, just that you make time to do something. I think that's
Something
such
that you
a,
love or you enjoy.
yeah, absolutely. That doesn't have to be productive. I think we're addicted to productivity, staying busy, busy, busy. So I think it just giving yourself permission to sleep, you know.
Yes.
It can be hard, you know. The nurses that I know, it's hard to slow down. Um, do you think right now there are enough resources out there supporting nurses? Like our platform tries to create a virtual community to bring nurses' voices together so we can rely on one another and support one another. Do you think there are adequate resources out there for nurses right now?
Adequate. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think it's like from where in our local setting we don't have platforms like this, like local
Yeah.
platforms.
Right, right.
So what you guys do is very it's valuable
Yeah.
actually. When Neville actually connected with me and shared with me this platform, I was actually really happy that
Oh,
there's such
cool.
a thing as nurse,
Yeah.
as this platform, Nurse Deck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the world needs more people like you, more
Oh.
organizations. Yes.
Yep.
So start like creating awareness, starting meaningful conversations
Yes.
about this. It means something actually. It's
Yeah.
making a significant difference. You
Yeah.
guys are actually the ones making the
There you
significant.
go. Looped it back around.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I think we're seeing on our end from our members that it's really been something that people need a community space to just gather in, and then we're just letting people run with it in whatever direction it's naturally taking. And I think just the community aspect is what is filling them now.
It's yeah, it's really different if you share the same sentiments with the same people who
Absolutely.
understands you, who are
Yes.
going through the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's
I
really
mean,
something.
I think
It's
it's
a
therapeutic.
powerful.
A giant support group in
Yeah.
your computer or phone. But yeah, I agree. So you feel like you don't there could be more resources like that for nurses. You see a
Yes,
need for it.
definitely. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
great.
If, yeah, I think the forum or the platform could be even more um, expand. You
Yeah,
know, let more nurses know about you guys.
yeah, yep. We're slowly getting there,
Yeah.
slowly but surely. Or not even slowly, really. But yeah, we're building. It's been great to see the response from everybody. I just have a question personally because I know we get people curious about. I see you have a couple different certifications with critical care nursing and also as being a clinical nurse educator, and the fact that you work as a clinical resource nurse. I think a lot of our newer nurses and nursing students, they see these that you can get certifications like yours. Can you tell us? I know you touched on it briefly, but what does a clinical resource nurse do? Like, do you work on the floor? Are you coordinating things from a higher level? For nurses that are interested in maybe learning more about that role.
Okay, so yeah, a clinical resource nurse is basically a resource person. So if actually the basic responsibility is to be in the wards to
Okay.
guide, especially the new joiners,
Yeah.
transition into their role as a staff nurse in a specialized facility.
Okay.
So that's my role. So I teach them how the clinical workflow, the routines
Yep.
do. But I also have administrative responsibilities like
Right.
uh, reports. It's part of it.
Yep.
So basically, it's a mixture of both.
So mixture of like administrative work
Yeah.
slash like you still get FaceTime with it sounds like new hires and new trainees.
Not
Yeah.
just new hires, like a refresher even for the old ones.
Oh, okay. True. Yeah.
I actually teach in the clinical area.
Oh, okay. That's
Like
fun.
if there are updates with COVID, so
Yep.
I liaise with our infection control nurse.
Yep. So you're
Together,
like the official go-to person. If someone's like, what is going on? How do I handle this? They're like, go ask Alex. He'll know the answer.
as an educator, it's important to tell people that they don't know everything, but
Hmm.
if it's something that needs a specialized area, we can tap people to help us. So
Yeah.
I can be a middleman as well,
Yeah.
like helping them get the right resources.
Yeah. I love that. That's like the nursiest role ever. All right. Well, one final question. Do you belong to any professional organizations as a nurse? And if so, what value do they provide for you?
So currently, I'm a member of Sigma Theta Tau, International Honor
Yep.
Society of Nursing.
Oh, great.
And of course, I'm a CCRN and a CNECL. So I'm affiliated with the American Association of Critical Care Nurses and the
Okay.
National League of Nursing.
Awesome.
So, what value do they bring me? So, these are also good organizations. They offer good resources
Hmm.
with the current trends in nursing.
Yes.
So, for AACN, I'm sorry, they
Hmm.
give me resources with critical care, like what's the newest thing about critical care?
Right.
How can we improve patient care? So they are a good resource for that. And for NLN, the National League of Nursing,
Hmm.
of course they give me the best practices on how to instruct people, to educate people.
Yes.
So they're basically good resources. I can through these organizations, I can connect with my fellow educators or fellow critical care nurses.
Right.
We can share stories. We can share platforms. We can share
Yep.
resources.
Yep.
So we can get expert advice worldwide.
Right. Right.
Most most of the members are from the U.S., but the organization is also expanding. So
Right.
you get a little bit of everything from parts of the world.
Yeah. No, I think that's such a good point because I think nurses sometimes see these organizations, but they're like, what am I going to get out of it? So I think it's important because there's so much information out there, and you really need to rely on places that are trustworthy, and that that you're getting the most up to date information. And like you said, there's experts on there who are addressing, I'm sure, questions and issues in real time. Um, I think that's a huge point to highlight about belonging to an organization as a nurse, for sure, especially in today's climate. So, all right. Well, I think we've gone through all of my questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Any messages you'd like to leave for all the nurses watching you right now? No pressure.
So
Or
yeah,
just any direction you want to point nurses in, like different groups or links, or we'll include your information if they want to find you on LinkedIn. But I always like to give the floor over in case there's anything that you want nurses to be aware of.
so basically, I just want to um, inform nurses. So I want to share to them that nursing can be tough. It can be challenging, but you're not alone. We have our fellow nurses to support us.
Yeah.
We have organizations that can help. So, and it's always better to seek to tap resources
Yeah.
than facing an adversity by yourself.
Absolutely. Well, that is a perfect message and a perfect place to leave it. So, thank you, Alex, for your time and for connecting from halfway around the world or all the way
Thank
around the
you.
world.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
awesome
for
to talk to nurses that are in totally different atmospheres and climates than we're in, just to get your perspective on things. So really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as well, and for listening for and learning together from my story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome.